Alligator versus Cougar. Who would win? Are you Team Reptile or Team Mammal? If we're talking about who is better, you might want some more specifics, right? Which reptile? Which mammal? Let's talk some of the most ferocious species from each team. From the reptiles we have the alligator, and from the mammals, the cougar. Two worthy adversaries, but if they went up against one another, who are you picking? Who would win? Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let us know which team you're rooting for. We're assuming you're mammals out there, but if you want to switch teams, that's fine. What do they look like? Experts can pick out these two contenders in an instant, but the common person who isn't a zoologist may have some troubles. Each one of these animals is often confused for others. Take the alligator, for instance, often confused with the crocodile, and even the caiman as well. Crocodiles are typically the largest in this family and have a V-shaped snout, where alligators and caimans have U-shaped snouts, and then trying to sift through the differences between alligators and caimans. For starters, alligators tend to be much bigger. Also, crocodiles and caimans have an orange hue to their teeth, while alligators' teeth are more beige. And my oh my, do they have many teeth. Somewhere between 74 and 80 conical-shaped teeth, ranging between a ½ to 2½ inches long each. Alligators tend to have an overbite, so even when that large mouth that can open wider than most animals is closed, you can still see some teeth. Alligators will be black or a dark olive brown color with white undersides, and on average they'll reach 13 feet long and about 800 pounds. But don't be surprised to see one reach 15 feet and 1,000 pounds. Now with a cougar, they can be mistaken for other big cats for those who don't know the big cats well. However, it's quite easy once you know. Leopards, snow leopards, jaguars, cheetahs, they're the ones with the different spots. Lions have the big manes, as you know. Tigers are the striped big cats. And then that leaves us with the only other big cat, the cougar. Their hair is usually tawny or brownish or tannish. No stripes, no spots, no manes. Like a huge cat. They're typically 6 to 7 feet long, 150 to 200 pounds. They're muscular, but also fairly slender considering the distribution of weight. They have strong hind legs and even stronger forepaws, which they use to clutch their prey. And their teeth are typically 2 inches long, strong and sharp, and they're not for show. With regards to the big cats, you might be wondering, what about mountain lions and pumas? One in the same. Those are just other names for the cougar. Now that we've sifted through who is who, let's find out where these ferocious animals are hiding out. Where do they live? Knowing where to find these animals does actually tell us quite a bit about them. It also lets us know what places to avoid, so that we may keep all our limbs intact. There's actually two different kinds of alligators, the Chinese alligator and the American alligator. Chinese alligators, unsurprisingly, are found in China, and your sharp deduction skills will tell you that American alligators live in America. The Chinese alligators are found in areas of eastern China, but they are the smaller of the two, so we want to focus on the larger American alligators. And their place of living will play a key factor as well, but you'll see what we mean in a minute. The American alligators can be found all throughout the southeastern United States, from Texas to Florida and even up to the Carolinas. In both cases, alligators love fresh water, swamps, marshes, things of that nature. And since they're cold-blooded, they love the hot temperatures, which is why they're so popular in Florida. The Everglades in Florida is the only place in the world where you can find both alligators and crocodiles. So why are we more interested in the American alligator? Well, because the cougar lives all over the Americas, so there's actually a chance of habitat overlapping. Cougars are widespread throughout the Americas. You can find them as far north as Canada, down through California and Mexico, down to Brazil, the Amazon, even to the southern tip of Argentina and Chile. Their populations used to be larger in the eastern United States, and in many areas have dwindled significantly or seen them go extinct. But one place in eastern US you can still find cougars. That's right, Florida. It's looking like this face-off is destined to happen in Florida. So, what are our two contestants eating before the big match? What do they eat? Oh, to be a prey animal in Florida. It must be rough. But which prey animals are the most unfortunate? Alligators are opportunistic carnivores, so they'll eat just about anything they can clamp their jaws down on. You'll see them eating a lot of frogs and turtles and fish and crabs. When they get a chance to nab birds, they will absolutely do so. They've been seen eating herons and ducks quite often. They also love mammals that get too close to the water's edge, whether it's a rabbit or a feral pig or even deer. If you are within striking distance of the alligator, then the alligator thinks you look tasty. The cougar is also a carnivore, and depending on where the particular cougar is, he may feast on a wide variety of animals as well. It could be raccoons, rodents, or coyotes. If they find mountain goats, sheep, or other livestock, that's a tasty treat. Farmers have to be careful if they're living in cougar country, but the cougar's favorites have to be ungulates, and depending on where they live, that may mean moose, elk, or deer. Yes, so in Florida, the deer is voted the most unfortunate animal. Considered prey by both an alligator and a cougar. Might be time to move. How do they behave in the wild? Could a deer get away in time? Or are these two predators too difficult to escape? What's it like to see an alligator or a cougar in the wild? Sometimes alligators congregate in groups, typically during mating season, but mostly they are solitary animals. They'll bask on the land, but spend much time in the water, especially as they sneak up on their prey, laying low until the right moment to strike. They may attack other aquatic animals and sometimes do find themselves on land up to 150 feet away from the water, searching for a meal. But their best bet is to use the water, as they move better in that medium. On land, they can have a quick and sudden burst with surprising speed, so if you're within a short distance, they'll get you. But they can't sustain it long, not like in the water. They're also so stealthy, gliding through the water, getting so close to their prey of choice. Once they decide to lunge from the water, that burst is so fast and surprising, hardly any animal can get away. You might think, sure, they can't get away from the initial strike, but they can still wrestle away from the gator's jaws, right? Not likely. Alligators' jaws aren't designed to rip or chew flesh, but the jaws and teeth grip the prey and hold on tight. The initial bite force is 2,125 pounds per square inch, one of the most powerful bites on the planet. If that doesn't do the prey in, they can then drag the animal underwater, hold on, and drown it. Or if the water isn't deep enough while they grip the animal, they do the death roll and rip that poor soul apart. Alligators do have overlap with crocodiles in some areas, but mainly they are used to being an apex predator in most areas that they live in. This is a similar story for the cougar, often an apex predator, but not always. Cougars have overlap with jaguars, with wolves, and with bears in their wide-ranging habitats. In general, they're apex predators, but they also know how to coexist with other apex predators that may often outrank them. This makes them scrappy, and when they go after their prey, they are lethal, stalking their prey until it's time to ambush, and then jumping into action. Cougars can hit sprinting speeds of 40 to 45 miles per hour, chasing down even the fastest of deer, and then tackling them with their powerful bodies. If they need to leap a great distance to tackle their prey, no problem. Cougars are the original Olympic athletes. This is going to sound like it's made up, but it's true. Cougars can not only jump 18 feet vertically, but they can also jump 40 feet horizontally. Someone needs to check if they have springs in their legs. Once on top of their prey, they deliver a bite to the neck, either suffocating the animal or breaking its spine. A bite force of 750 psi is no joke. Now that you know all the nitty-gritty details, who are you picking in this brawl? What if they fought? It seems so fitting that this battle should take place in Florida. Maybe that's why the University of Florida's teams are called the Gators. And though the National Hockey's Florida team is the Panthers, we all know that mascot is a cougar. Florida sports teams know that alligators and cougars are the biggest and baddest animals in the state. But who's the mightier of the two? They're both excellent stalking and ambushing predators, but they do it differently. The alligator loves to stalk from the water and snap at his target at the last second. Now, most animals don't have the reflexes to avoid something like that, but a cougar would. Reflexes are his game, He'd hoped to find the alligator on land anyway, even if it was near the water. Our cougar isn't going to want to battle in the water. The cougar has explosive bursts when he attacks, but so does the alligator. Each could deliver quick blows with their jaws, putting the hurt on one another. The alligator has the advantage in that department, not only with far stronger jaws, but a much larger mouth. Any and all bites from the alligator would be devastating. The cougar would need to do his best to avoid that reptile's jaws, because they're specifically constructed to never let go once they clamp down on something. The alligator could also throw his weight around and do some damage to the cougar in that way. He outweighs him by several hundred pounds. If the cougar is battling with this alligator and he is keeping it close, he is in trouble. The alligator can snap his jaws quickly, lunge from his position in a flash, put 2,125 pounds of pressure onto the cougar with his teeth, and hit him with 800 plus pounds of weight. The fight in close quarters might spell out a win for the reptiles more often than not, but the cougar would want to rely on his agility and the fact that he has something the alligator does not: the ability to do damage with his paws and claws. The cougar's game would be to keep his distance and then lunge in for attacks, use his superior agility to dance around the alligator, get behind him, get to his side, and before the alligator can spin around, get on his back, hit him with those powerful paws, dig his claws in, and then bite him repeatedly, sink his teeth into his neck or the top of his head. The cougar knows how to take down heavy animals. He just isn't used to going after one like this, so low to the ground. It could be done, but the cougar would need to trust in his agility and keep his distance, picking and choosing when to attack. That's his game plan, and the alligator wants to keep it close, which the cougar will eventually have to do. The alligator has a clear advantage: bigger mouth, stronger jaws, heavier, and able to deliver deadly blows in a fraction of a second. More often than not, the bigger bully wins, but don't count out our agile and dexterous cougar. The alligator relies mainly on his mouth. The cougar has a few weapons at his disposal. He just needs to keep his body clear of those 80 teeth, or else he will be the one in disposal.